Arrow down. Hi, Paul. Hi, Dan.
And we are live. You might want to hold on
Hello,
a
how you
second.
doing?
Good. And,
But we are broadcast.
okay, and we have one attendee, and that would be Tom Hughes. So, all right, I don't know where Carol is. We're gonna make sure Carol's not in. Oh, Andy, can you promote Carol Wagon to,
Yeah, I just did.
okay.
I'm here.
Hi, Carol.
Hello.
We need to get you the right link.
I take it from the agenda minutes. That's not the right place to get it from.
No, Andy, you sent Carol a link before, didn't you?
Let me check right now.
Yeah, no, that's for the general public, Carol.
Oh, okay, because that's
we
the
get a-
one I thought I was supposed to use.
Yeah, we get a link directly to panelists.
Okay.
But I think we'll get this meeting going. Let's bring this meeting to order. It's the April 20th, 2021 Newburyport Conservation Commission meeting taking place on the Zoom platform. And this meeting is being recorded. First item on the agenda, the April 6th, 2021 meeting minutes. Does anybody have any changes or comments or whatever?
Motion to approve,
Second,
Roll call, Paul Healy,
yes.
Steve Moore,
yes.
Dan Warshall,
Yes.
David Vine,
Yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
Carol Wagon,
Yes.
and I vote yes. All right, on to oh, wait a minute. Where am I going here? Do we have any Plum Island updates, David? I can't remember.
We did have a follow-up meeting with DCR presenting the report,
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
which I believe that Julia circulated the tape or the video of that. I don't recall anything else new coming out of that meeting. It was pretty focused, as I
Yeah, it was
recall.
pretty much all on that thing.
Yeah.
Can
Does,
I ask, as somebody new to this process, what if anything more will this commission have to do with regard to that study that was?
It would depend on what they go forward with. Any kind of submission they have to, we would need to approve it too. You know, whether like if they do the dredge and they dump it on the island, you know, they would submit a notice of intent to us. And also do we do it strictly for the dredging 1 year or two? Just because it's
Well, the last time they dredged, they wanted to run the pipe, you know, bring it right on shore and then run it down the whole length of the beach.
Yeah.
So that even though we suggested they might want to do it differently, they said no, and then they ended up doing it differently. So we actually had no part of that because they never touched Newburyport.
right. Okay.
But there was a notice of intent for the on-site or the on-beach filling, the nourishment.
Which one?
For the last dredging?
Okay.
That was in Newbury.
No, but it came before us because their original intent was to run the pipe across Newburyport.
Okay.
So we did see that. And if they're going to dump sand on Newburyport Beach, we'll get a notice of intent because they got to show the, you know, I'm losing the term, but how they're putting it down and what depth and where it's going. So
Okay, thank
yes,
you.
we will be part of that, Carol, believe
Okay.
me.
Okay.
So next week are some really high tides.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the highest of the high tides are at midnight.
Oh, yeah. Not going to get any good king tide pictures at midnight. but well, maybe
Be
we'll
a
get
full
some other
moon
ones.
though, so.
All right, those are our Plum Island updates. Next, Evergreenport Place, Tom Hughes has updates for us.
Yep. Good evening. Tom Hughes with Hughes Environmental Consulting. Andy, I don't know if you got the email. I tried to send it a couple times. You might have gotten a couple times with a presentation.
Yeah, is that working? Can you get that?
Yep, that's it. So you guys may recall I updated you not that long ago on the open space. So I want to just walk you through what we're doing out there now. If you recall, there were some areas that the wildflowers had come in nicely, like the one you're looking at. And if you just want to flip to the next one.
Are these current pictures?
These are relatively current. These are last summer, end of last summer. So you can kind of see what it looked like. And then if we can keep going, what we have done is we had some areas like the one you're looking at where the vegetation was not coming in quite as densely as I'd like. You can see the ground. I mean, it's still coming in nicely, but if we can go to the next one. We have actually been out there with a farmer, and the farmer has gone through and done basically a deep hook plow, which is what you're looking at right there, or a soiler it's called. Basically, it's going down 18 inches and really breaking up the soil. And then in the foreground, what you're seeing is they then go over with for what is called a moldboard plow, which is a shallower plow to break up the surface stuff. And if we can go down the next picture. So here's a picture of it after the deep plow. The next one. So here you can see the shallow plow next to the deep plow, and go on again. So then after all that was done, we spread, turned out to be about 3 to 4 inches of nice organically rich compost. And then they're going around and discarrowing that in to mix it with the top layers of soil. So we go down to the next one. And same, just more of the same. What you're seeing in the distance is the farmer pulling behind a spreader that's filled up with this compost, and they just drove back and forth, laying that stuff out. You go to the next one. So here's, another shot of that in action. This is the vast majority of the open space out there. The large fescue meadow and the pollinator meadow have all been treated this way. If we go on to the next. Okay, so this is the area near the bridge, and you can see out on the island, there's in these areas where it was growing in, but it was just struggling a little bit, we did a top dressing of more like an inch. If we can go down to the next one. So again, just more pictures of, in the distance, you can kind of see the piles of compost, the work being done. And this is from the 95 side of that wetland area. And again, this area was just vegetation had come in nicely, but we just top dressed it. It also aerated it, like triple and quadruple aerated that area as well. We're trying to deal with some of the inherent compaction from the construction, which is largely in that far field. If we can go down to the next one. So here you can see where we top dressed along the trail on the highway side. Also, if you look on the right-hand side, that area, we've just filed a minor revision for you for your next meeting. If you see how the right-hand side, how we have sumac and we have the woods coming up fairly close to that trail, that area on the right was originally shown on the plans as a pollinator meadow. So in our minor request, we're actually looking to change that to a transitional meadow that will be a combination of herbaceous vegetation, but really more have a bunch of shrubs and saplings that will be in that area to kind of transition from the woods over. We can go to the next one. So here's on the island, the area in the center, top dressed. That one really, we just were trying to get a head start. That was still a little bit beaten from the construction of the bridge and from the construction of the trail. If we go to the next one, so if you take a look at this, you can see the large meadow areas. The areas that are east of the IVW have all been reworked, and all of the other open space areas have had some top dressing and and some real nice attention. This is actually revised L0 that's going to be part of your minor package. We're proposing that transitional meadow, and we took a little section of seed where the bridge that we've also applied to not do. We basically converted one type of meadow to pollinator to make the maintenance cleaner long-term. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. We've done this to really increase the organic content. The compost is a higher pH, so it's bringing the pH of the soil up. And the areas have been seeded with the appropriate seed. There's still some seed going down, but instead of hydroseeding, it's all being done with the farmer's seed spreader. And then it's all being rolled afterwards to make sure we have good seed contact. We're really looking to make sure we've had decent success in those meadows with the seeding that was done before, but we did have a drought which tended to favor the fescues, and I was a little disappointed at how much wildflower we had coming in. So so we're basically redoing the whole thing. And after last week's 1.5 inches of rain, we did have noticeably less puddling in the open space. So I think that's because we alleviated a lot of the compaction. So with that said, what I would like to do is invite the commission before the next meeting, if possible, to do a site visit. See the current state of the site. I think it will be really helpful as we then begin to discuss the minor revisions and the updates and all that kind of stuff that isn't the subject of tonight's meeting. But I think we talked over the winter about getting you guys out for a site visit, and I think it's time. If you guys agree, I'd love to talk about potential dates next week.
Okay, yeah, we can, I'll let Julie organize a site visit
Okay.
when she gets back, and we can go from there.
Okay, that's awesome. As long as do you guys all agree then that it's time for a site visit?
Yeah, I think it would be worthwhile.
Yeah.
I was going to go out there on my own, but I'll wait.
Well, you're welcome to. Plenty of people go out and walk the path, but I think as we talked about before, because of the decisions that were made during, permitting overall, there's not really any public parking out there. But, if you let me know you were going out there, I could always make sure there was a spot for you to park.
Well, is there room in that cul-de-sac, of Boyd Drive?
Yeah, I don't think parking's restricted on Boyd Drive. And there's also the Brown Avenue area, but there's also, the contractors and the folks working at the site are parking on the street near the buildings under construction. And if I knew you were coming, I could let the foreman know that, that it was okay to have you park there for going out to walk. But I'd love to do it as a group as well. So let's let's work through Julia, try to get that set up kind of ASAP when she gets back next week. That'd be awesome.
Where do we stand on connecting to the I-95 trail?
All right, so we do not have anything in writing yet, but we've approached Mass Highway, and my understanding is we've gotten an extreme cold shoulder that basically we would need to meet accessibility requirements if we were to try to tie into that. So, at this point, that's not looking good. We are looking to, we'll build the pathway up to the property line, but that's kind of about all we can really do if Highway's not going to give us permission to do anything on their side.
Yeah.
How difficult is turning it into accessible?
You'll see during the site visit, the slope is just too steep, I think, to reasonably do anything to get us up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not like it's an easy deal to tie in, but there's no way they'll even talk to us without an accessible one.
Right, and then there's the one in Amesbury there where it stairs up to the path.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, if there's things like Riverwalk Brewery, it'd be wonderful to have a set of stairs going right up behind their place, but it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Tom, do you know when the development team reached out to Mass DOT?
Several times, and I think pretty aggressively, and I couldn't give you the exact date. I think Olympia Bowker from Mead Tollerman Costa is on here. She may know, but I think we got really aggressive, reaching out to friends who knew somebody to really try to get a hold of the district people and really talk through it with them. And I think that was like January, February that we, after, years of trying to reach out and getting kind of cold shoulder, no return calls, et cetera.
But probably at the tail end of the project, correct? As opposed to at the beginning, right after the.
No, there were discussions early on with them and reaching somebody who, the initial answer we got early on was it needs to be ADA, and we kept trying to reach out and reach people. We just weren't getting phone calls back, but we've gotten more aggressive, I guess I would say, as we get more towards the end. But there were early on reach outs, and we just didn't get anything back.
I think we made it pretty clear the last time we talked about this, that it was pretty important to us that this happened.
Yeah,
Um,
no, understood. So, we are still trying to pursue it, but the verbal responses we've gotten are not encouraging. Let's just put it that way.
Is there less slope in a different place?
Steve Sawyer went out and walked it, trying to find a way up, and there may be a way, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I think part of the problem is Mass Highway. Even if we can make it accessible, Mass Highway being not overly responsive to us tying in.
Yeah, Mass Highway being Mass Highway.
Yeah, and I'm sure. I think Andy. I think Lisa and Olympia are going to be in front of planning, and they probably are more prepared to address that.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. Thanks, Tom. I just, I actually had conveyed to Mass DOT probably several years ago at this point, the development project's interest in that at the request of, I think, Chip Hall, but
Yeah.
I'm not aware of any actual outreach the development community has done in this project to Mass DOT, in advance of, say, the last couple of weeks, perhaps. But that's why I was asking for clarification, because obviously, as I'd indicated to the development team early on, that's the type of thing that takes some advanced coordination, and there would have to be grading work to bring down the grade at a point where the path could come through, and that would all have to be coordinated in advance with Mass DOT. So I was wondering whether or not the development team made any effort on that, given all the other aspects of this project, whether that was, an effort was made on that early on in the project or not.
Yeah, I know there was, and on the one hand, I'm just the wetland guy, right? But I'm also doing the SWIP inspections, and I'm out there a lot. I know there was a lot of discussion amongst the development team real early on.
Well,
about
yeah,
that.
Tom, and that's okay. If Olympia is here and she knows, perhaps you can clarify.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But the one thing I'll say is there was also another big push when we started doing the trails last spring, or I'm trying to remember the exact date, but there was another big push because we hadn't gotten anywhere. But Olympia, do you have any more information on that?
Unfortunately, I do not, but I can ensure that we have all of our dates and efforts kind of compiled for you for the planning board hearing tomorrow night.
Okay.
Just wondering if it would be helpful if we had some legislative interference that might help if need be.
It never hurts. And we can look at that slope and look at all that during the site walk. And I'll see if we can have Steve attend that with us, Steve Sawyer, who can kind of talk about the route. I know he walked it and he had something in mind that might work. He wasn't sure. And, he's been trying to reach out, because years ago he worked for Highway, decades and decades ago, and he knows people who know people, and he's tried to reach out through back channels, and it just has not yielded us any success yet.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you're saying next meeting, we're going to have.
Yeah,
this,
we filed a package. I mean, I'm happy to go through what we filed with you, but I feel like we filed for that next meeting. So I don't want to get into too much detail, but it's like stormwater changes that were, coordinated with John Eric, just on sort of minor things. the removal of one bridge, which was something that we had coordinated early on with Julia and Jennifer during a site walk that we've talked to you guys about. And then some changes now to this L0, the landscape, where we're going to be putting in, shrubs and saplings rather than trying to get a pollinator meadow to grow in the shade. Things like that. I mean, they're all, it's a big package. Plus there's the HOA amendment that, deals with the pervious impervious issue as well. That's part of that package.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll see you at our next meeting.
Yep. And later in the agenda, I think.
Yes, yeah, if you could hang around later, just for a minute.
Yeah, I have hearings in Newbury as well. So, but I have the COC coming up, and I think right after that is a hearing I've requested a continuance on, but I can certainly go through where we're at with that.
Okay, yeah, well, this will be pretty quick.
Okay, thanks.
All righty. Speaking of set agenda, let's move to certificates of compliance, requested determinations, etc. First item is Sylvester Electric, 1163rd Street, request for determination. Is there anybody here for 1163rd Street? Okay, Erica is here. And so I verified that fence has been there for at least 20 years. So
Okay.
so we're past that. And I think at the last meeting we discussed not doing any plantings within a couple feet of the generator so they didn't get burned up by the exhaust. And to have was 8 square foot mitigation planting area, probably in that general area as well as where all the gas and electrical lines are gone.
So the customer actually wanted it in a different spot. So we haven't been able to get a hold of Scott. He was in the hospital and we haven't heard back from him. So the customer wants it on the other side.
On the other side.
So if you look, hold on, let me look at the pictures. I believe it's the picture.
Well, maybe we need a submission of where exactly they're going to want it now. Since what we have now is obsolete, right?
So if you see the picture from the street view, where you can see the meter.
Andy, do we have any?
I was going to say, if there's not a plan, I'm checking through here to see what else we have. If there's not a clear plan showing the current or proposed conditions accurately, I would suggest a revision be submitted to incorporate in any approval or decisions.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we need to do that because we need to know where it's going and what's going to get dug up. And we were all set to approve it where you proposed it or they proposed it, but now we're changing the location, so we're going to need a new drawing of where it's going to go.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, we were trying to get with Scott, but he hasn't gotten back to us in over 2 weeks. So we weren't able to get the plan from him.
And Scott's the installer?
No, he was the guy who, the surveyor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he was the one that did all the plans for us. So what I can do is I can get with my manager and we can get another plan together and resubmit it.
Okay. Yeah, send Julia the updated plan with the location and we can go over next meeting.
Okay, when would that be?
May 4th.
Okay,
Okay.
so there's no issues with the fence or anything anymore. We just.
No, that's all taken care of.
Okay.
No, it's location now.
Okay,
Now, like I said, we're all set to most likely approve it tonight, but we're not now.
yeah, I don't know if the customer got upset. I don't know, because we brought up the fence or what, I'm not sure. So he had switched the location when we had talked to him after the first meeting. So yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, that's his prerogative.
Yeah.
That's fine with us. It just shortens our meeting even more tonight.
Okay, so we can get those plans over to Julia.
Yes,
Okay,
and we'll get you on it. We'll do a continuance to the next meeting and we'll hopefully take care of it then.
yes, okay.
You want a motion?
Yes.
So a motion to continue.
Second.
May 4th.
Okay. Roll call. Paul Healy,
Yes.
Steve Moore,
Yes.
Dan Warshaw,
Yes.
David Vine,
Yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
Carol Wagon,
Yes.
and I vote yes. All right. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is Terry and Mark Robertson, 1 Jefferson Court, request for certificate of compliance.
Good evening. Tom Hughes with Hughes Environmental Consulting. This is really straightforward. This is the lot on 1 Jefferson. It's 1 Jefferson Court. It's the one that is across the river from Jefferson Court. I don't know if you remember, and there were, it was a renovation of a house, additions, and some landscape work. All of the work's been complete. There's a letter on the file from Hancock Associates stating that everything was done in compliance with the project and everything on the ground looks good. So we're asking for a COC.
Okay. Anybody got any questions? I do not. No. Get a motion?
Motion to issue a certificate of compliance?
Second.
All right, roll call. Paul Healy,
Yes.
Steve Moore,
Yes.
Dan Warshaw,
Yes.
David Vine,
Yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
Carol Wagon,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, can I get a motion to open the public hearings?
No
So
move.
moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, first item is Robert Condon, 1176th Street, notice of intent. Tom, can you give us a,
Yeah. So let me, hold on a second, if you don't mind. I'm going to change my screen so I can go over my markup of the plan. So the surveyor, Everett Chandler, is working on the plan update. I just don't have it in time for tonight. But shortly after the hearing we had last time, I coordinated with the applicant and we got answers to all the unanswered questions. So we are looking in the front of the house. You may recall there were the granite posts that were there originally, and they had temporarily put like a marine rope between them, and they're looking to keep that. In the back of the house, they're looking at just doing posts with rabbit wire. And, you know, so that's like 90-something% open, just to keep the dog in. The at-grade platform will be removed and a clamshell patio with paver edging put in its place. The temporary stairs that were out back would be replaced with a landing and stairs. But, you know, no deck or anything like that. Let me think. Oh, and in the planting, we're adding 2 red cedar within that planting area up on the 76th Street side that we had talked about with the commission, because there were some evergreens there before.
Yeah.
I think that met everything that was on the list. If there's something I'm forgetting, you know, please remind me.
Was this the property they were talking about possibly wanting a side deck on the house?
Yeah, so this was the one, what I wasn't sure of was we had, and I don't see the property in that picture. Am I missing it?
Okay.
There was an existing deck. Yeah, so there was an existing deck where that label says deck, is actually an at-grade wooden platform. There
Right.
was an existing deck that had solid siding. If this is my full NOI, if you go to the photo sheet, that might be best. Which is,
Yeah, for some reason on the last sheet, which I think might be the photo sheet, doesn't seem to come up.
oh,
I think that
okay,
happened last time too.
all
You
right.
might, maybe it's something in the export. You might want to double check it before you send it because it looks like the page is blank. So I don't know why.
Okay, no, you know what? I think at the last meeting, we shared a presentation file. Okay, so the old deck that was out back had solid wood sides going down to the ground. It didn't have 2 feet clear. They took it down, and what I was unsure of is whether or not we would be looking to put a deck in. And we talked about how if we were going to do that, it would have to be kind of between that outdoor, it's labeled as shower, but it's an outdoor changing area, and the door in the back. It would have to be lifted up, and you have to come out on a landing and step up onto the deck to get the 2 foot clear.
Yeah.
And the applicant opted to just go with an at grade, clamshell patio, which, currently it's all gravel back there, rounded stone. And prior to that, it was all pavers. So I think that it certainly meets the performance standard if we do that.
Tom, this is Andy. Could you, for the commission's benefit, regardless of whether they're taking action tonight, for the purposes of referencing plans and approving plans, if it sounds like there needs to be plans submitted that show accurate conditions, right? But also, Julie and I discussed is the titles of these 2 diagrams that are shown here. It's a little bit confusing. It says compiled conditions. I assume that that's supposed to be existing conditions.
Well, no, so a compiled condition plan is when you can't survey it. So they did all this work, right, after, without any survey done. So what we did is we did ground survey and compiled the conditions using a ton of aerial photographs and ground photographs. So it's a compiled condition, rather it could also be called pre-existing condition.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm suggesting, is that be clarified as the title of that diagram.
Yeah, so I think we'll change that to compiled pre-existing, because the surveyors seem to refer to them as a compiled plan.
Yeah,
But I get how that's confusing. So it'll be compiled pre-existing conditions. And actually,
and the one on the right should not be survey. I assume it should be proposed. There should be a plan showing proposed.
Right. No, and that's right. So the plan on the right is based on current conditions with proposed changes on it. So that we'll change those titles. That's a good point, Andy. If you look on the left-hand panel, though, you can see where that deck was. That was there, and it didn't have 2 foot clear. It was non-compliant. As part of the violations, they took that out. So, we'll just go with, something, reasonable size landing with stairs coming out of it. And then that clamshell patio will be shown on the next plan. So we will update those titles. Everett was possibly going to get me the plan today. It just didn't happen. So I should have that by the end of the week, or certainly early next week.
Okay, we had talked about once you got the plan, we were going to have a site visit.
Yeah. If I can get this plan into you guys, Friday is actually booked. I've got a funeral and everything. It's going to take up most of the day. But if I get this in Monday, maybe I can have Julia schedule the site visit for both this and for Evergreen.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay.
She should probably be there too, so.
Yeah, no, and I think it would be helpful for you guys to see it and we can walk through it and then finalize any remaining issues and get this done with.
Okay.
So with
Alright.
that, I guess I would request the continuance, unless there's any further comments or questions, request a continuance to our next meeting.
All right. Hearing none, can I get a motion?
Motion to continue to May 4th.
Second,
Second.
All right, roll call. Paul Healy,
yes.
Steve Moore,
Yes.
Ann Warshall,
Yes.
David Vine,
Yes.
Ron DeCola,
Yes.
Carol Wagon,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good night, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Can I get a motion to close the public hearings?
So moved.
So moved.
All in
Second.
favor? Oh, second,
Aye.
yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So we forget about enforcements and violations right now. One thing I would, actually it's related to enforcement and violations. I would like to organize a site visit out to the Gloria Brownhart Bike Trail, the old I-95 roadbed, to look at things that have gone on out there, including the dumping of soil on the roadbed, and tree cutting and other things that have gone on. I think the commission should take a look out there, just to see what Jerry Mullins has been working on. I'm catching news that he's looking into getting a grant for a beaver deceiver out there, which I don't know why he would be doing that, but he seems to be a very motivated person. So I think the commission we should get together and take a walk out there. I think it would be generally adequate if we parked at the Hale Street parking access area and just walked in a couple of 100 yards from there, if that works, because pretty much all the issues are shown in that area. We wouldn't need to park off Astoria Ave and walk the whole length. We can just go in there and have a look around. So if we want to do that, are people interested in taking a walk out there?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure. I'm not clear though where you're saying we would park, Joe?
On Hale Street and this, the map here, right, well, it's basically right where the right side green line is, it says access road. That there's a parking area
Okay.
for going onto the trails there.
Oh, this is by the new trails. Okay. I didn't see those marked, so. I was
Yeah, this is,
looking-
well, there's a trail access to the right of the white building, and there's trail access to the left of the white
Yes. Okay. And so where you're saying we would park to the left?
To the left, yeah.
At
right
that
near-
parking area for the trail?
Up near the highway.
Okay.
And there's enough parking. Well, God knows if there's enough parking for everybody from here who's going, but we'll figure something out. And Steve's just gonna walk from home anyways.
Maybe.
So when are you suggesting we would do that?
Um,
Waiting for Julia to coordinate that too?
We can. Well, we'll have a bunch of site visits. Well, it's Tuesday now. I don't know if people have any time this week or not. I don't know how much time I have this week other than possibly Friday.
You want me to ask Julia to suggest some times next week when she's back so that you can also do it with her? Or-
Yeah, we'll do it that way. We can do it next week at some point.
All right, I'll ask her to send out a couple of times or communicate to the whole commission about scheduling that.
Yeah, we can do, for those who are new, we can send out all the emails we want on coordinating times like for site visits, so we'll figure that out. And we'll get out there and see what's going on, because he has transferred a rather significant amount of dirt to the roadbed and has dug up a rather significant amount of that dirt from the surrounding area, including within a 25-foot no disturb, and really on the banks of the little river that goes through there too. So
Do we know why he's doing this?
yes, he was doing it because he was trying to narrow the roadbed to a standard bike path width. Apparently, all he really needed was to have lines painted on the roadway, but he decided to do it this way, and he's done a lot of it.
Hey,
So,
Joe, for background purposes, can you just tell me who Jerry is?
Jerry is currently the president of Parker River Clean Water Association. He's really done yeoman's work on the trail system out there in the woods and everything. He's done a lot of maintenance, but he's also done a bunch of things such as putting bridges over the little river that he should not have done, unpermitted bridges that basically one of the footing was right in the middle of the stream. And he's been pretty intransigent about removing stuff too. So, you know, he's done some tree cutting out there, and
His position in that group gives
he's the
him,
president. He's currently the president.
and he can go in and do this stuff. I mean,
Well,
This is Andy. Can I clarify?
yes, please.
Yeah, so we're having discussions right now just because this is a sort of orphaned open space area in the city. We're in discussions about having that formally placed underneath the Parks Commission, the path or the trail, if you will. And then obviously coordinating issues like this through the Conservation Commission. Because there hasn't been any city agency or monies put towards that area. Jerry's and his folks have taken on efforts to try to improve the trail network and so forth over there. But there needs to be some sort of designated city department or agency overseeing what's happening there, instead of, as you point out, sort of without permission potentially. So this will help to formalize that, because Jerry would have to run it by the Parks Commission or director, in addition to the commission itself, things that would go on out there. So Jerry had come before the commission regarding, I think you were on the commission, Ron, when he wanted to put a bridge over the little river. And we said he probably couldn't do that. And we've had discussions regarding this soil on the road. And he never wanted to put in an NOI, and he just did it anyways. He's thrown seed on this too. And in the thought that he was helping the drainage system out there, because there's all the old stormwater systems are still there from when this was the northbound lanes of the highway. And he had it in his head that he was helping the drainage, but most likely he's not. But anyways, he did all this unpermitted, and pretty much all of it's within the 200-foot riverfront, and a large percentage of it's within the 100-foot buffer, and a considerable amount is within the 25-foot no disturb too. So I think we need to figure out how we want to proceed out there, because it really shouldn't stay as is. So
It seems like he's surprising us all the time.
oh, he is full of surprises.
Yeah.
He's full of
Yeah,
surprises for a lot of people.
That's not a good thing.
No, not usually.
He has done a lot of good work out there, but he's also done a lot of bad work.
Yes.
Mm.
And he gets an idea in his head and he just runs with it, and sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes it's not. So All right, so we'll have Julie, we'll ask Julie to coordinate a site visit for there too. All right. And to that end,
Joe, I'm sorry, but just
Yes.
before I just wanted to ask for clarification. Did you want for this initial visit for it to just be commission members, or did you want to invite Jerry or anyone else out there? Just wanted to clarify. Whatever you prefer.
I don't know the value of having Jerry there.
Yeah, and I figured you might want a preliminary visit for the commission members, without that dialogue or discussion with the applicant or, okay.
And yes, and also he may still be doing stuff out there. I don't know that he has stopped, even though the mayor asked him to. So he's like that. So
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, he might be out there.
he may very well be when we go out there. All right. Anybody else have anything else?
I'm not sure the details, but the conflict of interest, as I read it, we're supposed to do this by the end of the month.
Oh, the ethics training?
Yeah,
That I don't remember. I did get mine done.
yeah, I got mine done too. And when I was doing it, I was looking over the original email that Julia sent us, and I believe it was the end of April.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I just dropped mine off the other week for what's his name? Richard Jones. For the
Okay.
city clerk.
All right.
I printed off the certificate from the website.
Okay, very good. And hopefully everybody else will get theirs done.
The test was hard.
It was.
Really.
But you couldn't fail.
But you couldn't
No,
fail.
it was a good thing that it allowed multiple guesses, but
Yeah.
I was impressed at how hard the exam would be.
Yes, they do make you think, and I've
Yeah.
had so many ethics courses for when I worked for the FDA that
Oh, yeah.
it was very similar to a lot of stuff that I've
Oh.
done for decades. So it wasn't too hard.
Uh,
You get used to the little tricky ones they throw you.
yeah.
So, yeah, so make sure you get yours done. Thanks for that reminder, David.
Yep, thank you for that. I won't be at the next meeting.
Okay,
All right.
very good. Well, you don't have Wi-Fi from where you're going?
I probably do, but I'm not sure. Let's keep it open. Maybe I'll be at the next meeting.
Very good. All right,
Motion to adjourn.
here we are.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? All right,
Okay.
see you next week at some point, hopefully.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Good
Bye.
night. Thanks,
Good night.
Andy.
Have a good night.
Good night.